Passive income is often talked about in percentages, promises, and screenshots, but very few people share the actual numbers behind what they earn. That's why I decided to document everything from day one and create a completely transparent passive income report for my first month. No exaggerated claims, no unrealistic projections, and no hiding the disappointing results. Every income stream, expense, profit, and mistake is included exactly as it happened. Today we will talk about my passive income report month 1, real numbers only. So before we get started, make sure to hit that like button, also subscribe to my channel. 10. Most passive income journeys don't start with huge numbers. When people watch passive income videos online, they usually see one of two extremes. Someone claims they made $50,000 in a month. Or someone shows a screenshot of a business generating 6 figures annually. While those stories can be inspiring, they often create unrealistic expectations for beginners. What gets ignored are the early stages. The first month, the first dollar, the first sale, the first small win. That's why I wanted to focus only on real numbers from month 1. No exaggerated claims. No overnight success stories. No secret system promises, just the reality of what happens when you begin building passive income from the ground up. And the reality is much less glamorous than most people expect, but also much more encouraging. 9. The goal wasn't income, it was proof of concept. Before looking at any numbers, it's important to understand the objective. The goal wasn't to become financially free in 30 days. The goal wasn't to replace a full-time income. The goal wasn't even to make a large amount of money. The goal was simple: prove that the system worked. Many people underestimate how important this stage is. The first dollar earned online is often more valuable psychologically than financially. Why? Because it proves that a stranger somewhere in the world found enough value in what you created to spend money. That changes everything. The journey stops being theoretical and starts becoming real. Month 1 was primarily about validation rather than income. 8. The first income stream was digital products. The first passive income stream I focused on was digital products. Templates, guides, resources. Simple products that could be delivered automatically without inventory or shipping. The appeal was obvious. Create once. Sell repeatedly. At least in theory. The reality was that creating the product was only half the challenge. The bigger challenge was getting people to discover it. After launching the product, sales didn't immediately start appearing. There was no flood of customers, no viral moment, just a gradual process of learning how visibility actually works online. Still, even a few early sales demonstrated something important: the system could function. 7. Content became the engine behind everything. One lesson became clear very quickly. Passive income still needs fuel. For me, that fuel was content. Videos, articles, social media posts, educational content, helpful resources. Every piece of content acted like a digital salesperson working around the clock. Content introduced people to the products. Content built trust. Content created awareness. Without content, traffic remained extremely limited. This was one of the biggest surprises. The passive income stream wasn't really passive in the beginning. The assets required attention before they could start generating meaningful results. 6. The first numbers were small, and that's normal. One mistake many beginners make is comparing their first month to someone else's 5th year. That comparison creates frustration. The reality is that month 1 numbers are often small, sometimes very small. And that's completely normal. Imagine a report that looked something like this: digital products, $18. Affiliate income, $7. Ad revenue, $3. Total passive income, $28. Many people would look at those numbers and feel disappointed. But experienced entrepreneurs often see something entirely different. They see proof. Proof that systems are beginning to work. Proof that customers exist. Proof that growth is possible. The amount matters less than the validation. 5. The most valuable return wasn't money. Financially, month 1 was modest, but the education was enormous. I learned what attracted attention, what people clicked on, What products interested customers? What content performed best? What marketing approaches failed? These lessons were worth far more than the income itself. Because income can fluctuate, skills compound, knowledge compounds, experience compounds. Month 1 provided data that could improve every future month. That information became one of the most valuable assets generated during the experiment. 4. Consistency mattered more than results. Many people start passive income projects enthusiastically, then quit after a few weeks. The reason is usually simple. Results arrive slower than expected, but consistency often matters more than early performance. The people who eventually succeed usually continue building assets even when the numbers look unimpressive. More content, more products, more learning, more experimentation. Every asset increases future opportunities. Month 1 reinforced this lesson repeatedly. Small actions accumulate. The effects are often invisible at first. Then, suddenly they become noticeable. 3. Most of the work was invisible. One thing social media rarely shows is how much work happens behind the scenes. Research, planning, writing, editing, testing, learning, optimization. Many hours were invested before the income appeared. This is why passive income is often misunderstood. The income may eventually become passive. The creation process rarely is. People see the result and assume the process was easy. They rarely see the foundation underneath. Month 1 involved far more effort than the income justified financially. But that's often how asset building works in the beginning. 2. The system was more important than the revenue. At first glance, the income report seemed to be about money. But after looking deeper, I realized it was really about systems. Could traffic be generated? Could products be sold? Could content attract attention? Could assets work together? Those questions mattered more than the actual revenue amount, because once a system works at a small scale, it can often be improved. Revenue becomes a process of optimization rather than invention. The hardest part is proving the concept. After that, growth becomes the focus. 1. The real lesson. Small numbers are still numbers. Looking back at month 1, the most important lesson was surprisingly simple, because the truth is simple. Most successful passive income systems begin with numbers that seem insignificant. A few dollars. A handful of sales. A small audience. Modest traffic. Tiny revenue. But every large passive income business started somewhere. The first sale came before the 100th sale. The first dollar came before the 1,000th dollar. The first customer came before the 1,000th customer. Month 1 wasn't impressive by internet standards. But it was real. And real progress matters more than impressive promises. Because once you stop focusing on how small the beginning looks and start focusing on whether the system actually works, you begin understanding how passive income is truly built. Not through overnight success. Not through shortcuts. But through assets, consistency, learning, and time. Those are the ingredients behind nearly every meaningful passive income story you'll ever hear. The difference is that most people only see the ending. Month 1 is where the real story begins. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. Before you go, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.